Awakening. The shuttle's engines whined as Caravos guided it through the turbulent atmosphere of Erebus IV, a desolate moon orbiting a gas giant in an unremarkable system at the edge of conclave space. She'd been chasing rumors for 3 years, whispers of ancient ruins predating even the oldest conclave records. As chief exoarchaeologist of the conclave scientific court, she'd been granted minimal resources to investigate what her superiors considered a wild goose chase. "Landing coordinates approaching," announced the ship's AI in a pleasant, gender-neutral voice. "Anomaly located 2 kilometers west of landing zone." Kara nodded, brushing a strand of silver-streaked dark hair from her face. At 42, she'd spent half her life digging through the remnants of civilizations, piecing together the complex tapestry of galactic history. But this discovery felt different. The energy signature was unlike anything in the Conclave database, a technology neither Xelian nor Praetorian, the 2 elder races who had founded the Conclave 10,000 years ago. The shuttle landed with a gentle thud on the rocky terrain. Through the viewport, Kara observed a barren landscape of dark stone and dust, illuminated by the faint light of the distant sun and the looming gas giant overhead. She sealed her environmental suit and stepped out onto the surface. "Maintain communication protocols," she instructed her assistant drone, Pip, "and keep the engines warm. I don't trust this place." The anomaly stood before her, a massive structure half buried in the moon's surface. Geometric patterns adorned its dark metal surface, intricate designs that had somehow survived millennia of cosmic radiation and micrometeorite impacts. Kara approached cautiously, her scanner sweeping for any signs of danger. "Unusual composition," Pip reported, hovering beside her. "Unknown alloy. Dating analysis suggests approximately 8,000 years old." Kara frowned. "That's impossible. 8,000 years ago, the only spacefaring civilizations were the founding conclave species." "Data is conclusive," Pip insisted. As Kara approached the structure, a section of the wall seemed to ripple, then melted away, revealing a corridor leading into darkness. It was responding to her presence. "Should we proceed?" Pip inquired. Kara hesitated only briefly. "We proceed." The interior was pristine. No dust, no deterioration. Lights flickered to life as she advanced, illuminating corridors and chambers filled with unfamiliar technology. Strange symbols lined the walls, neither Xelian nor Praetorian. Something about them tugged at the edges of her memory, like a half-forgotten dream. In what appeared to be a central command center, Kara found a console still operational after thousands of years. When she touched it, the entire room hummed to life. Holographic displays materialized, showing star charts, vessel schematics, and weapon systems. "This is a military installation," she whispered. A voice responded, deep and resonant, speaking in a language that Kara couldn't understand. Yet somehow, she found herself comprehending. "Identity verification protocol initiated. Species recognition. Partial match. Genetic degradation detected. Proceed with limited access authorization." Kara stepped back. "Who are you?" A holographic figure materialized, humanoid, wearing what appeared to be a uniform. "I am Athena, advanced tactical holographic entity for navigation and administration. I serve as caretaker of Outpost Erebus." "What civilization built this outpost?" Kara asked, her heart pounding. This installation was constructed by the Terran Defense Force in the Earth calendar year 6342, serving as a forward base and monitoring station for the Perseus Arm. Terran. The word felt strangely familiar on her tongue. "I don't recognize that species." Athena's expression shifted subtly. "Species designation: human. Homeworld: Earth. Status." The hologram flickered momentarily. "Status: classified." Kara's scanner beeped urgently. "What is it, Pip?" "Incoming vessels. Conclave military signatures. 6 cruisers on approach." They followed us. Kara's mind raced. They said this expedition wasn't important enough for military support. ATENA observed the data. Threat assessment indicates hostile intent. Defense protocols available but require full authorization. I didn't contact them, Kara insisted. They shouldn't even know we found anything. The hologram studied her carefully. Your genetic profile contains dormant human markers. Diluted, but present. You are a descendant. The revelation hit Kara like a physical blow. That's impossible. Humans are just legends, stories told to children. Incorrect. ATENA stated flatly. Humans were the third founding species of what you call the conclave. Historical records have been altered. The facility trembled as the first conclave ships entered the moon's atmosphere. Kara struggled to process ATENA's claim. The official history stated that the conclave had been founded by the Tsilians and Praetorians, who then uplifted other species into their galactic community. If humans were real, where are they now? Kara demanded. After the Schism War, remaining human forces enacted Protocol Orpheus, a strategic withdrawal and hibernation protocol. The Tsilian-Praetorian alliance conducted systematic genetic cleansing and historical erasure. Survivors were scattered, their bloodlines diluted across generations. Proximity alarms blared. The conclave forces had landed. They're here to destroy this place, Kara realized. To bury the truth again. Correct assessment, ATENA confirmed. This outpost contains archived records of human civilization and military capability. The conclave has eliminated 17 similar installations in the past millennium. Kara made a decision. Can you transfer your core programming to a portable device? We need to leave now. Affirmative. Preparing neural compression. As armored conclave troops breached the outer doors, Kara frantically worked with ATENA to download the eye's core consciousness into a quantum storage device. Weapons fire echoed through the corridors. Why me? Kara asked as the download reached completion. Why reveal this to me? Your genetic profile suggests you are a remnant, a bloodline deliberately preserved by human deep operatives. You were always meant to find us. The console beeped as the transfer completed. Kara secured the device and turned to find herself facing Commander Thalos, the silver-skinned leader of the Conclave Security Division. Chief Archaeologist Voss, he said, his voice unnaturally smooth. Step away from the console. Kara slowly raised her hands. Commander, I didn't realize my little expedition warranted your personal attention. Thalos gestured to his troops, who began placing demolition charges around the facility. This site is now classified under Directive 7. You will be debriefed and rehabilitated. Rehabilitated. Kara's blood ran cold. Standard procedure for exposure to corrupted historical data. Thalos explained casually. You'll be back at work within a month, with no memory of this unfortunate incident. Kara glanced at Pip, who hovered silently nearby. The drone had been with her for 15 years, programmed with certain contingencies for exactly this kind of situation. Pip, she said quietly. Initiate Protocol Phoenix. The lights went out. Emergency sirens wailed as Pip released an electromagnetic pulse that disabled the Conclave troops' armor systems. In the confusion, Kara slipped past Thalos, clutching the quantum core containing Athena. She ran through darkened corridors, guided by Athena's voice in her earpiece. Behind her, Thalos bellowed orders to his recovering forces. Ahead lay her shuttle and the truth about her own existence. As Kara reached the surface and sprinted toward her ship, the reality of her situation crashed down upon her. She wasn't just running from the Conclave. She was running toward a heritage she never knew existed, a legacy forgotten by a galaxy that had tried to erase it from history. The shuttle's engines roared to life as Conclave troops emerged from the facility. Laser fire scorched the hull as Kara piloted the craft upward, breaking free of the moon's gravitational pull. Where do we go? She asked Athena. Coordinates being uploaded. The AI responded. We seek the Lazarus Protocol. As the shuttle accelerated toward the jump point, Kara caught a glimpse of the massive conclave cruisers moving to intercept. Whatever humanity had been, whatever they had done to warrant such fear from the architects of the conclave, she was now part of their legacy. And that legacy was about to return to the stars. Resurgence. The unmarked transport ship drifted silently through the debris field surrounding Nexus Station, a sprawling trading hub at the intersection of three major jump routes. 3 months had passed since Kara Voss had fled Erebus IV with Athena's core, becoming one of the most wanted fugitives in conclave space. Docking credentials accepted, announced the ship's pilot, a grizzled Cortarian smuggler named Dravik. His reptilian features creased in a frown. Though I still think this is suicide. Kara adjusted the hood that concealed her face. Genetic modification had altered her appearance, darkening her skin, changing her eye color. But it wouldn't fool advanced scanners. We need the database. It's the only way to find the others. The others, Dravik snorted. Chasing ghosts. But they weren't ghosts. Over the past months, HFY had guided Kara to hidden caches of human technology and historical records scattered across abandoned systems. The truth had unfolded piece by piece. Humans had indeed been a founding member of the conclave, their technological innovation and military prowess making them equal partners with the Xilians and Praetorians. Until the schism. The details remained fragmented, but approximately 7,000 years ago, a fundamental ideological conflict had erupted. The humans had advocated for expansion and integration of younger species into the conclave as equals. The elder races had preferred a more hierarchical approach, with newly discovered civilizations serving as protectorates rather than full members. The disagreement had escalated into the Schism War, a conflict so devastating that entire star systems had been rendered uninhabitable. The humans, outnumbered but technologically superior, had eventually been defeated, not through military might, but through biological warfare. A tailored pathogen had decimated their populations. Rather than face extinction, the remaining human forces had activated the Orpheus Protocol, a last resort contingency. Military installations went dormant, fleets retreated to hidden locations, and surviving personnel entered long-term stasis. Some humans integrated with other species, diluting their genetic heritage across generations. And the conclave, now dominated by the Xilians and Praetorians, had systematically erased humanity from galactic memory. "We dock in 5 minutes," Dravik announced, interrupting Kara's thoughts. "You have 2 hours before the security rotation changes." Kara nodded, checking the compact quantum core where HFY resided. That should be sufficient. Nexus Station's central database contained census information for the entire conclave, genetic profiles, population distributions, migration patterns. If HFY's theory was correct, those records would reveal clusters of human genetic markers throughout conclave space, descendants who, like Kara, carried the dormant legacy of humanity in their DNA. Security at the data hub was minimal. The conclave relied more on bureaucracy than physical barriers to protect information. Using credentials purchased from the Cortarian underground, Kara gained access to a private terminal. "I'm in," she whispered, connecting Athena's core to the system. "Beginning infiltration," the AI responded, deploying search algorithms for genetic markers consistent with human baseline. As HFY worked, Kara kept watch, her modified pulse pistol concealed beneath her cloak. The few technicians present paid her no attention. Just another researcher accessing archive data. Analysis complete, HFY announced after 20 minutes. Results exceed projections. Human genetic markers present in approximately 4.3% of current conclave population, concentrated in 17 distinct regional clusters. Kara's heart raced. That's hundreds of millions of people. Correct. Most carry minimal markers, less than 2% of genetic profile. However, 14 individuals identified with markers exceeding 25%, suggesting deliberate genetic preservation. Like me. Affirmative. You possess a 37% matched to baseline human genome, significantly higher than statistical probability would allow. A security alert flashed across the terminal. Someone had noticed the unusual data queries. "We need to go," Kara said, disconnecting HFY. "Did you get the locations?" "All relevant data secured." However, a secondary discovery may prove more immediately valuable. Security protocols preventing access to restricted astronomical sector HC-19 have been identified. What's in sector HC-19? Unknown. However, the security classification matches protocols protecting information about human military assets. Alarms began to sound throughout the data hub. Kara slipped away from the terminal, merging with the crowd of technicians evacuating, due to what they believed was a routine security drill. By the time Conclave security forces realized what had happened, she and Dravik were already navigating through the debris field, plotting a course to the mysterious HC-19 sector. The coordinates led them to an unremarkable red dwarf system at the edge of charted space. 3 rocky planets orbited the dim star, all seemingly lifeless. Scans show nothing, Dravik reported, his scales shifting nervously. "Whatever's here, it's well hidden." Athena's holographic form materialized beside Kara, transmitting authentication sequence on restricted bandwidth. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then, as if emerging from nowhere, a massive orbital structure phased into visibility. A space station 20 kilometers long, shaped like an elongated diamond. Habitat 12, HFY identified. One of 7 emergency preservation habitats established under the Orpheus Protocol. "It's been here all along," Kara whispered. "How could the Conclave miss something this size?" "Quantum displacement field," HFY explained. "The station exists partially out of phase with normal spacetime, rendering it undetectable to conventional sensors." As they approached, a docking bay opened like a massive iris. Dravik guided the ship inside with uncharacteristic reverence. "I'll wait here," he said as Kara prepared to disembark. Some discoveries aren't meant for outsiders. The station's interior was immaculate, preserved by automated systems for millennia. Kara followed Athena's guidance through corridors lined with stasis pods, each containing a sleeping human. "How many?" she asked. "This habitat houses approximately 15,000 personnel, primarily military and scientific specialists. Similar numbers presumed in other habitats." They reached the Central Command Center, a vast chamber with viewing ports overlooking the dim red star. At Athena's instruction, Kara placed the AI core into a receptacle on the main console. The station hummed to life around them. Displays activated, showing status reports, stellar cartography, and communication logs stretching back thousands of years. "The Lazarus Protocol can now be initiated," Athena announced. "Revival of command personnel will commence. The network will be reactivated." "Network?" Kara asked. "The defense grid, automated outposts, surveillance systems, and combat platforms distributed throughout Conclave space, maintained in dormant state." Kara hesitated. "Wait, what exactly will happen if we activate this Lazarus Protocol?" Athena's holographic expression remained neutral. "Humanity returns to the galactic stage. The suppressed truth emerges. The Conclave must acknowledge its crimes. And if they refuse, then they face the consequences of their actions." Kara thought of the millions of innocent beings throughout Conclave space, species who had no knowledge of the ancient conflict, who had been born into a society built on hidden lies. "There must be another way," she argued. "Retaliation will only lead to more suffering." "What alternative do you propose?" Athena asked. Before Kara could respond, the station's sensors detected incoming ships, a Conclave battle group led by Commander Thelos's flagship. "How did they find us?" Kara demanded. "Tracking device," Athena replied. "Likely embedded in your companion's vessel." Dravik. Kara should have known better than to trust a smuggler's loyalty over Conclave bounties. The station shuddered as the first volley of weapons fire struck the outer shields. Defensive systems online, HFY reported. Shields at 92%. Countermeasures available. On the main screen, Kara watched as Thelos's flagship moved into position for another attack. The Conclave had come to finish what they had started thousands of years ago, the complete eradication of humanity's legacy. We need to wake them, Kara decided, gesturing to the stasis pods. Not as an army, but as witnesses. The Conclave needs to face the truth, not more weapons. HFY considered this. Awakening protocols require authorization from a human command official. Kara straightened. My genetic profile. You sit on 37% human, a deliberately preserved bloodline. Would that be sufficient? Genetic authentication accepted. HFY confirmed after a moment. Revival sequence initiating for command staff. Throughout the station, stasis pods began to activate. The first to open contained a woman in her 50s, her uniform bearing insignia unfamiliar to Kara. As the revival drugs cleared from her system, she focused on Kara with startling intensity. Admiral Helena Voss, Terran Defense Force, she introduced herself. And you would be? Kara Voss, she replied, the significance of their shared names suddenly clear. I think I'm your descendant. Helena nodded, unsurprised. The remnant protocol worked then. How long? 7,000 years. The Admiral absorbed this with remarkable composure. And the Conclave still exists, still hiding the truth. There's a battle group outside, intent on destroying the station. More stasis pods were opening now, releasing men and women who moved with the practiced efficiency of veteran soldiers despite their long sleep. Helena approached the command console, reviewing HFY's reports. The defense grid is still operational. We could cripple their fleet in minutes. That's not the answer, Kara insisted. There are innocent people throughout Conclave space, millions with human ancestry who don't even know their heritage. Starting another war won't heal old wounds. Helena studied her descendant thoughtfully. What do you propose? Truth. Exposure. The Conclave has built its entire civilization on a foundation of lies. Remove that foundation, and the structure crumbles without firing a shot. After a moment's consideration, Helena nodded. HFY, activate communication protocols. Access the Conclave's emergency broadcast network. Inadvisable, the AI cautioned. Will reveal our position to all Conclave forces. That's the point, Helena replied. We're done hiding. As the station's advanced systems penetrated the Conclave's supposedly secure communications, Helena addressed not just the attacking fleet but the entire Conclave. This is Admiral Helena Voss of the Terran Defense Force. 7,000 years ago, the species you know as humans were systematically eliminated from Conclave records. Our crime was advocating for equality among all sentient beings. Today, we return, not seeking revenge, but recognition. The truth cannot remain buried. She nodded to HFY, who began transmitting historical records, genetic data, and evidence of the systematic erasure to every communication hub in Conclave space. Outside, Thelos's fleet had ceased firing, clearly receiving frantic orders from Conclave High Command. The revelation of humanity's survival and the presence of human genetic heritage throughout Conclave populations would send shockwaves through the galactic community. What happens now? Kara asked as the transmission continued. Helena smiled faintly. Now comes the hard part. Reconciliation. Building a future where the mistakes of the past aren't repeated. As more humans awakened from their millennia-long slumber, Kara realized she stood at the intersection of past and future, a bridge between worlds that had been separated too long. The forgotten legacy of humanity wasn't in weapons or technology, or even in the genetic markers carried by descendants like her. It was in the principles they had fought for: equality, truth, and the fundamental right of all sentient beings to determine their own destiny. Those were worth fighting for, not with weapons, but with truth. And the truth, as the Conclave was about to discover, was more powerful than any weapon ever devised.